not gonna lie, that might have been the wrong intro.
I think it was the right one. But anyways,
it seemed good to me.
It was Hummel.
hello
HML.
everyone. Welcome
Hello,
back to
everyone.
HML. That's
Hello
it's,
there.
it's caught on, I think.
With
In
us,
my
at
head.
least.
It's my headcanon.
Hummel.
Himmel.
Guys,
We were just talking about the Masu.
The who?
Oh,
The who?
no, you mean the Maku.
The Maku, excuse me. Yeah.
The
He was an
who?
MCU.
Anyhow.
Oh, the MCU.
Whatever.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
He was-
Okay.
I was picking up what you're putting
Thank you,
down.
Jack. Thank you. I appreciate it.
One track brain on this channel. It's Star Wars, and that's
One of
it.
us got it.
so.
How are we doing, guys?
Doing well.
Going
Good.
well.
I feel
So-
I feel like I got hit by a 747 because
Wow.
I had to stay up stay up till like 4 a.m. to watch the episode with the all new nerds. It was really fun. I was never like a reaction guy, but it was fun. I liked it. When you have a crowd, a good
Cool.
group of guys, it was fun.
Good group of guys.
So go
was-
check out that reaction video.
It
on
was
All New
funny.
Nerds.
We'll just jump right into it. We have someone on our panel who wasn't really a big fan of Rebels or didn't really
Oh,
see
wait.
Rebels.
Spoiler warning for anyone that hasn't seen it. And I have a new hat.
What is it? I can't see it.
I like how you say spoiler warning and then put on a Syndulla Stan hat. Like, okay.
I had to say spoiler warning first, but
Yes, we're
I just custom job from New Era hats.
10 minutes ago, AJ's like, "Do we have printer paper?" And I'm like, "Yes, by the printer." And then 8 minutes after that, he says, "Where are the markers?" And I'm like, with the markers."
And here we are.
And here
All
we are.
available on our Etsy right now.
Yeah, one of these
So
bad
this
boys.
episode, I just want to throw this out here before I forget it. This episode to me, and I want to stress up front that I thought it was a fantastic episode and I had a lot of fun with it.
And,
To me, it was like I was at a restaurant, right? And I ordered the lobster, right? And 10 minutes goes by and a burger comes out. And I'm like, I didn't order this. It looks like an amazing burger. Love it. Delicious burger. And I see a lobster go by about halfway through my dinner for about, 2 minutes. And then it's all burger for the rest of it.
And then the restaurant just starts flying an American flag out front and you're outraged.
Oh no!
Oh,
No,
God.
don't start! Don't start!
And
No.
and what I mean by this tortured metaphor is like I thought it wasn't what I expected, but I still had a
Right.
great time with it.
Yes, we're all dancing around the one large cameo in this show, Senator Orrin Freetah.
Woo!
We're all going to talk
I know,
about
right?
the toaster.
I'm a big Orin Freetah fan.
Such a
Big
great translation
keyboard.
from live action to animation too.
Yeah, definitely.
But really, though, he is.
a Freetah stand right here. Let me
I
get
love
my
him
hat.
in
Yeah.
season 2.
Where's your hat?
Free
season,
ta.
In
Yeah.
season 2, the middle of
Stan.
season 2 of Clone Wars, and it's the Mandalore plot, and he's on the Duchess, the ship, and he's eating the chicken, he's like, and Obi-Wan pulls up the droid, and he goes, oh! I love it.
That's how this episode felt. That's a
what he
perfect
does.
metaphor for this episode.
Yeah.
Was
Oh!
was
I'm
he
eating
like a?
chicken.
Like, this
Was
guy's
he less
fat.
of an asshole in like the earlier episodes? Because I feel in this one
He's
he was
always
just like a
been.
ripe
No,
Empire
he's-
asshole.
he's
son of a
always
bitch.
been
Yeah.
He's always
Made the
so
devil's
Huh?
deal.
He's always
Oh,
been
God.
an asshole.
He's always like, just where's the money, man? Just point me to
I'll
it.
be
Farm boy.
honest, I like never really cared for anything from his character to
He's
remember
not
it enough. So
dead.
no, he's not
dead.
dead.
He's alive and well.
He's
No,
not. He is.
dead.
He's
Although-
If
survived.
you go back,
That is
Because they
Go
did
back
say
after he
attempted
gets shot.
assassination.
there's
That's the
like a few
weakest frame
frames
job.
in there of him breathing.
He's still breathing.
Frames
That's-
worth of breathing.
that's
I
the
didn't
biggest
notice it
frame
the
job
first
I've
time.
ever seen.
I watched
How is
this
if he's
episode.
point blank? How are you taking a shot from
I
that
watched
angle?
this episode.
He got shot in the Leku.
Zapruder film, guys. I swear to God, because if Orrin Freetah was dead, then it would have contradicted the novel Lords of the Sith, and I would have been really sad because Orrin Freetah.
Yeah, you were miffed.
That's just famous for really
But-
adhering to the canon.
exactly. And I
Yeah.
was like, why?
Famous.
It would have just
Tony, you're doing it
completely.
again.
It would have just completely decanonized this novel that I really love, and I was like, that's unfortunate. But like frame by frame, you can see him not only breathing on the ground, but when he's getting dragged away on his little cart, you see him twitching. And I'm like, God. And the shot,
That's promising.
the shot,
Somebody
well,
get a Bronto
the
wrap
shot hits his leku. It doesn't hit his head. It hits like between his
Yeah,
leku.
it's like
His Leku went
Yeah.
back and to the left.
It
I want
back
you all
to the
to,
left.
to
How many
look
of us
back
went to go
and
There was
look
a
at
second
complete
shooter, I think.
economy?
I think the other thing as well is obviously Crosshair is going to
best episode.
his shot is going to be where it's most impactful, and so if he's instructed to almost assassinate someone, then
That again,
just-
it
I'm
goes
just saying-
back to
One.
the
What's because
that
they
goes
need
back
him.
to the thing that he doesn't miss.
Exactly.
Crosshair does not miss.
Except when he's shooting at the
Except when
Bad
he
Batch.
does.
But it's a really
Well, and
strange
that's-
angle to pick. Like, to me, if I'm a Twi'lek forensic analyst and I see that the shot came from
Yeah,
this
right.
angle and Chad Syndulla was standing point blank in front. Yeah, Chad Syndulla. Am I right? How does that match up? It doesn't match up at all. It's such an easy frame job.
I don't
Not
think
at all.
no one was like recording it. They could just say
It's
that
gonna-
Sham shot him.
No,
They
but
can
that's
say-
forensic. That's forensic science. You know, if,
Okay,
if I know that he was
They can say
standing here and he's
that there was
standing
like
here-
a bee or a fly.
They
and he
don't
turned
know- but
around,
they don't know
and then
where
they
he
shot
was
him in the back of the head.
We have
See, it's
Admiral. We have Admiral Rampart and Commander Hauser.
Hauser almost said
Dude.
Ballast.
I almost said
himself.
Ballast because I had it on
Almost
the
said
brain.
Ballast.
Where the
We
hell
have
is
the
Ballast?
two commanding officers
It's the
there who
same.
are also
It
witnessing
was
this.
Ballast.
It was Ballast.
What?
So
Yeah,
what
You
are our
didn't get
thoughts?
this, Matt?
They changed
It's
the
the
name.
same.
So what are our
I
thoughts?
can never keep any of
On the
them.
packaging for the toy, it says Ballast, Captain Ballast. However, he is
This dude.
Commander Hauser.
So
Awesome.
confusing.
I was like looking at this guy and I'm like, I wish they made him a figure. Why'd they make
Oh, so
Ballast?
He
You're
exists.
happy
Yeah.
about it.
Use your eyes. It's the same exact thing.
I don't know. If it's two different names, it's two different names. I trust
It's
the
bizarre.
packaging. Sorry.
I
Yeah,
trust
well,
what they say in the show.
That was your mistake for trusting Hasbro. They're
Levi, I
never-
like your thing last night where you were like the Palpatine meme of you'll now be known as
Henceforth
Darth
should be
Ballast.
known as Hauser.
Oh,
It's like, all right, I guess it changed. But no, in terms of Orn Free-Taa, it makes way more sense for the Empire to want him alive, right? Because they need a puppet to help them rule Ryloth, and he is the definition of greed and gluttony who's been assisted, and that's what the purpose he is in Lords of the Sith. The plot of Lords of the Sith
Bad.
is
He's a
Cham.
total Chad.
Cham at that point in time is in full rebellion against the Empire, full free Ryloth movement. And Orn Free-Taa is Papa Palpatine, I need help. And so Palpatine and Vader go and try and solve the Cham Syndulla problem, and things go awry. But in that book, there's a great moment where it's a lot like Snoke, Kylo, and Hux in Last Jedi, where Snoke is you wonder why I keep a rabid cur so close. It's because a cur's weakness manipulated is a sharp tool. And obviously in that moment, he's talking about Hux, but it's he's also referencing Kylo because he's also manipulating Kylo too. I mean, it's double meaning.
Right.
And in the book, and this comes before Last Jedi, came out in 2015, Vader straight up just goes to kill Orn Free-Taa. He's like, this guy effing sucks. I hate this guy. And he just goes to force choke him. And Palpatine's like, no, dog. We need him for
That's
our
a direct
evil-
quote from the book, too. This
Yeah,
guy effing sucks.
Yeah.
Said in Darth Vader's
Yeah.
Vader is just absolutely sick of this guy, and he goes to force choke him, and Palpatine stops him.
Ah.
And he gives
I like
a
how
similar-
Brent brings up, and this is kind of what Levi was talking about with the other side, fighting for the Republic and then in the rebellion in the Empire times. But, last week we see the other side of it, the separatist side. This side we see the Republic. So it's kind of cool to see each side dealing with the Imperial takeover of the galaxy.
I thought that
the
was
show
really
is
cool.
It's still delivering on the promise of showing us this transition into an authoritarian state.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and now that Hera is actually, we could say Hera's in the show. We haven't said that yet. Now that Hera is in the show, I mean, this kind of it's not like I'm going to get any points for this, but it confirms what I've been saying all along. Bad Batch is really the third of the trilogy. It's the transition from Clone Wars to Rebels, and they're going to do everything they can to reference Rebels as many times as possible to
They
connect.
really
to it.
did it full
It's-
Star Wars fashion. They went 1-1-3-2.
Yeah, they really
it's
did.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
All right, guys.
It's Spider-Man holding the two sides of the boat together. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, but also
I-
Easily.
And I
if
really
one
like
ended
this.
twice, and then they made 3 in between the first ending of one, and then they put out 2 afterwards. But yes,
George
it's a
would be
trilogy.
proud.
That's
It's
very,
a
that
trilogy.
is very Star Wars.
Vanessa Marshall really knocked it out of the park playing a young Hera.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not to knock Freddie
No
Prinze
offense,
Jr.
Freddie
again,
Prinze Jr.
but wow, clearly it was possible to just age your voice. If you're trying a little harder. No, but I really did enjoy getting to see a young Hera sort of finding her moment. I loved her and Amiga
Oh, sure,
getting to hang out. That was my
Yeah.
favorite part of the episode.
That was really cool. I really liked them together. And it really highlights this kind of sense that this show is going for. I kind of like to call them the lost generation. The generation between this whole group of people who grew up with the Clone Wars when they were kids and then start fighting their own rebellion in the middle
It's
of
the
the
Dark Times.
prequels and the originals. Yeah,
It's the Dark
But-
Times kids.
it's the Dark Time kids. You have
Out to the
Kanan,
Empire.
Sounds like a great
who
band,
appeared at
by
the
the way.
beginning. It does. You have Kanan, Hera, you have Omega, you have all these people who are probably going to grow up to.
That's nice, AJ. That's
Wow,
really nice.
It
that's
is.
a good. That's
It's
a good
really
point.
nice.
I prepped a little bit.
A little bit.
Not enough, but a little.
Can you highlight Rural Farm Boys comment because they're talking about it in the chat?
Which one?
Oh yeah, sorry guys.
It's most recent. Yeah, so in
Yes.
this whole area that we see, the Syndulla household was just lifted straight from Rebels. It's the same place where you see Thrawn and the Calicori, and in
down
that,
Y-wing.
and in Rebels you see that same downed Y-wing where she gets Chopper from.
Yeah, because that
And
happens during the Clone War.
and it is the same one.
Yeah,
That's
and
really
like
cool.
yeah.
I had no idea.
It's the same house
Oh.
too. It's cool.
Really,
Um,
it's the same house. I had no idea the Syndullas lived in the same house the entire time. Sorry.
They did not move.
Well,
I
Jack,
didn't realize how many. I didn't realize. I guess it's been a while since I've watched Rebels because I completely forgot about Chopper's origin and where she got him from.
She
But
saved him
I-
out of the down Y-wing.
I didn't realize how much work Corey Burton did on the show. He plays Gobi Glee, and also he was like Dooku and
Uncle
all these
Gobi.
other characters.
he was also Zero the Hutt.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like then I could hear it afterwards, but like just one of those things.
I don't think Corey Burton's always Gobi though. I feel like Gobi had a different voice actor. It sounded
He
weird.
was at least for this episode.
Uh,
Oh, and he was
Chopper was voiced
Moliere
by
in
himself.
Yeah, that was great.
I,
Fun
just
thing in the
love how-
credits.
It's like
I
like
just
we don't
how-
know who that is now.
Love that he's part
so
of
good.
the family. I just love how he bursts into the room and he goes, "Bah, bah, 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 bah," and then Hera's mom is just like, "Oh, lead the way, Chopper." And it's
Yeah,
like,
it,
what?
Chop-
it adds so much to
yeah,
just Rebels, the relationship there. So
Chopper's
it's
not
so-
like
so
enough
cute.
of like an asshole yet. He's just like a little
So
like
true.
menace right now. He's not like a pain yet. He's just like a slight menace.
How much information in Rebels do they give for the mother's death?
None.
Nothing. She's
So
dead. That's it.
She's done for.
The
Next
most we
week.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
the most we
nervous.
know about her is from by Lords of the Sith. She's gone, which is 5 years after this.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure.
We have touched upon the attempted assassination. Is this Dylan or Johnny?
Or is it
Hey.
Levi?
Hey, me.
Yeah, it's Levi.
So
But yeah, we have touched upon it. He got shot in the Leku, which I haven't gone back to rewatch, and I kind of find that funny. Rampart was probably checking with the Twi'leks, like, "Hey, if you guys get shot in the Leku, like, are you guys good? Because just wondering." And then they probably were like, "Oh yeah, it's just like getting shot in the ear or something for you
Yeah.
guys." And then he probably passed that on to Crosshair and was like, "Hey, aim for the Leku," and that was the plan. That's how it went down.
sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg, Johnny.
I don't know. Sorry to interrupt. I'm on Wikipedia right now. I'm trying to refresh all my memory. I don't know if we will. I feel like she dies later. I know she
Okay.
dies, but I feel like she dies
would
when
know
Hera,
more.
Hera is older, and that's why. Because we know by Rebels that Cham and Hera are not on speaking terms, and they're
Yeah,
like,
Bad Batch wouldn't change any pre-established canon. No.
well, certainly not Rebels. Like it's the same.
It's
they're
not gonna
gonna-
change
Yeah, they're not going to contradict the
screen
anime
Well,
stuff.
they didn't
Filoni
have, like,
can't
a
override
flashback of
Filoni.
it, did they?
That's against his rules.
Yeah, that's
I
not
think
how
it's been
math
that
works.
long since
I think
watched
that
Rebels.
whatever happens to her, it's gonna be what is a big driver for why Cham is kind of absolutely nuts. So
He's not absolutely nuts. He's just
he's
it
very
He's a little
radical
nuts
though.
by
He's a
Rebels,
little
yeah.
nuts.
He's
he
not
wasn't
nuts,
quite there
not
yet.
nuts.
No, he's just
No,
really
yeah.
into Ryloth. He's a big
I mean,
fan of Ryloth.
He betrays his
He loses
daughter
his
in
wife.
Rebels, kind of, but
Well, kind of. But
Well,
it's
yeah.
still
So
Ryloth.
again, at the end of the day, when he loses his wife, that's gonna be a big driver for him.
right.
So
But
Path
the
of
point
Wisdom.
being, though, the point I wanted to try to make though about the timeline is that Hera has to be old enough when her mom dies to just leave on her own. And right now she's like a kid, and she seems really close with her dad. And
Yeah.
so I don't know if it really makes sense. And like I said, it's that would be contradicting Rebels lore, and that would be a little bit different because that's like
fair.
Dave did that.
Question:
Right.
Is there a reason
just
why
be
Orn
sloppy.
Frita looks different than other Twi'leks?
He's
Just
just
'cause he's fat.
dude.
No,
just
he's
chubby.
he's
just
okay. He's
chubby
No.
fat, yes, but he has
Oh.
like 2 extra Leku, and
Yeah,
he
they're
has 4
different.
fingers.
There are different
Well,
kinds of Twi'leks.
Yeah, I mean, look at why am I Bib Fortuna? I don't know why I
There's
blanked on that.
different.
But he's a
there's
very unique Twi'lek.
Yeah, there's different
Yeah.
kinds of Twi'leks.
Longer Leku, and he has like the 2 like horns. that
And-
others
and,
don't
like,
have.
There's just
We
different
finally have a
species.
male Twi'lek who has a similar Leku style to a female in the twins in the Prisoner, chapter 7, no 6 of Mandalorian.
Six. Yeah, Mando.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, like all the Sindulas,
Right.
like, their Twilight, their Leku like goes out like slightly, it's wider in the back
Mhm.
regardless, and so like all of like the live action ones have been like that wider style. If you look at like Aayla Secura, it doesn't go as wide. It's more just like straight back.
I'm wondering if you look at that crowd shot when they're
How
first all
tall
gathered.
are
There's probably a lot of variations.
How tall is Hera in
Yeah.
this compared to her full?
She was
growth?
very
Like,
small. If you
Yeah.
when she's standing next to the Bad Batch, she's like barely
Let's
up to like
say how
their like
tall
waist.
the Bad Batch.
Well, yeah, so we need to go over that again. So like,
So she's
she's a child. She is a
She's supposed
small
to be
child at this point.
10 in this, isn't she?
I'd say she's just like a 10-year-old at this point.
Somebody-
She's like Omega
somebody-
says so.
I saw somebody do a timeline and they said that she has to be 10 in this.
I don't know if she has to be
I mean-
10, but I mean that tracks. I feel like that works.
I'd say that.
Tracks. It works.
I
for
don't
me.
think she looked or acted 10 years old.
Oh,
I don't know. I
think
feel like 10-year-olds are like little babies who can't like.
I
When
don't know.
you were
Hera's
playing, they
awesome.
did like
She's
that.
smart. She's great. She has plans. She wants to see the galaxy. She wants to have
she's going-
a ship
she's-
with her
she's
family
going
in the
like
future,
this in
and
the-
then she
in the
does.
cloud.
So, can you
Like,
tell she wants to be a
come on.
pilot? She's sitting
Like-
there looking
Matt,
at
you-
the sky every
Also-
other day.
Yeah.
She's got that feeling.
Go ahead, Jim.
The whole her looking at the clouds is so it's Ezra looking at the clouds.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
Mm.
it is Ezra looking at the Lothal city in the distance. It is the
And
exact
looking at the
same shot.
birds. Yeah.
Like and watching everything just go overhead and just observing, it is the exact same thing.
A New
And
Dawn.
it's-
Sorry.
It's just
go
so good.
I really love the theme. Her theme in this
Her
too.
theme's so good. Yeah.
So good. Okay,
Oh.
Levi, what were you saying?
No, I was just responding to the chat. Chad, A New Dawn takes place probably around 13 years from now. So it's a while. It's plenty of time.
Hera's the big dreamer.
Mhm.
Very
Yeah.
similar to Ray on Jakku as well. Did you mention that?
Yep.
I'm a
No.
It's
little
almost
spacey
like
today,
it's a
so.
theme.
It's like poetry, it
Themes,
rhymes.
Also,
And somebody else
Hera-
wistfully looking out at the twin suns in the wind. I forget his name. That guy.
Yeah, who's
Yeah,
the guy?
that's-
Dirk,
yeah,
right?
Can't
Yeah,
remember
broom
him.
guy, broom kid.
Oh,
Broom
Yeah,
boy.
yeah, yeah.
Broom
Broom Boy.
Kid. Oh, you mean Tamari? Tamari Black.
Tamiri Blag. Yeah,
Yeah,
my favorite
my
character that
favorite
everybody was
Blag.
like, oh, he's going to be a main character. And I'm like,
I don't know,
Best
Matt.
pilot
Matt,
in the galaxy, yes or
Matt,
no?
I bet we're on. Well, we'll get. Hold on,
Hera?
AJ.
Yes.
Absolutely. We all. I think.
Yep.
Yes. I think. Hera's
Matt?
best
Yeah.
pilot.
what?
Best pilot in the galaxy.
Love Hera.
Jack, a lot of pressure.
Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I love
Ooh.
Hera.
Dude,
Oh,
she
Anakin-
came to be
oh,
with
your
yes.
Anakin merch is
That was
staring
like
at
a
me.
No,
yes
no.
under pressure.
It's tough because in my heart, Anakin's my boy. But as far as who's been depicted as like a crazy good pilot, I think Poe might be the best because they made him
Hera.
an OP pilot.
I respect that.
If you can snipe stormtroopers off the back of a prisoner from an X-wing, oh my god, that
That's
is
not
next
flying,
level
though. That's-
precision.
Yeah,
But
that's-
so that's why like that's an OG.
Hey,
that's
Hera,
the best
no pun intended. Hera ghosted Vader and
That's
She's
true.
got
in
some
Rebels,
her
so.
and Han like have some slick like smuggler style, stealthy moves, but
Hey, she's
when it comes
definitely
to just flipping and flying and shooting.
definitely in the discussion in terms of best pilot in the
Flipping and
galaxy.
flying and
without a doubt.
shooting.
And
You
she's
heard it
kind
here
of like,
first.
if there was a race, there would be no scratch on her ship. Everyone else, Han, Poe, Anakin, there'd be some dents on those ships. But Hera's a
Yeah.
clean.
Anakin.
But if
Queen
we're all
I
being
don't know
honest,
about
I think Kazuda Xiono is the best pilot in the galaxy.
Absolutely.
Self-described
Hey,
best
if
pilot.
he can fly the fireball around as well as he can,
Honestly, he does do a good job. I'm getting to
I
the
think
part
Kaz,
in
Kaz gets up there, but he's not like top.
Just,
I'm in the part of
just
Rebels where he's, like-
disrespecting Hype Phazon, huh?
yeah, well, yeah,
Whoa,
I am.
hype.
Hype Phazon pisses me off. I love him though. He's so unruly. I'm getting to that part in season 2 where he's like they're training the ace pilots to fight the First Order,
Ooh,
and this is when Kaz is actually like in his element, and I love seeing that.
Matt, all I could think of during this episode,
That'd be good.
I absolutely love Hera. I think we all know that. And maybe my hat gives it away. I don't know. But
Yeah, you're
we
very
need
official hat.
Rangers of the New Republic.
Oh,
Please.
oh my God, I was gonna bring that up. Please put her in Rangers of the New Republic.
And
Please.
I hope the
It's
show
not
happens.
happening though.
Hey, no,
Oh.
no. That wasn't
It's
said.
gone.
It's just not on the. It's on
Matt,
the back
did you
burner,
see
maybe.
the leak today?
Just
Or
pretend
the
it's
leak?
gone until it's not.
Which one?
That's fair.
About
The most recent one on Star Wars leaks.
let me
Uh,
look. I might have.
Well,
God.
why you say that though? It has nothing to do with. It's just about a timeline thing.
About Mando season 3 coming out in spring,
in spring, yeah,
which I'm
surprised
excited
me.
about.
That's
Wait,
soon.
That's bold.
That's
It is
not that
bold
much
because
of a
people
Late
but
spring.
people
I
have
could
been
see.
saying that forever, and I had that in my mind for a
Right.
while, and then
I could see it.
they turned around. They were like, "Oh, it hasn't started filming yet." So people were like, "Well, there's no way it's going to happen in spring." But now it's coming out that they're like, "Oh yeah, we're doing spring." It's like, okay,
I think
I'm
they probably
down for-
filmed some of it during Book of Boba. That's why Book
They
of
have
Boba
to
took
have.
so long to shoot.
And
Because
now-
they shot
Yeah,
the
I've-
show for 7 months. Like that's
Pedro
I've
crazy.
heard
Pascal is
things
like-
that I can't mention, but
and Andor is still filming.
Thanks for
Andor
bringing
has
it
been
up.
filming for
Andor
like
is
20
crazy.
years.
Yeah,
What
Andor
the hell
is
are they
like
doing.
every single day. It's like, well, they're filming in Essex next
Yeah.
week. It's like
I
it's
guess
like
they must be
frickin'
taking
Amazing
the
Race.
opposite approach.
hey, what's going on?
Everywhere but the volume,
EMA. Is
which
that
is taking forever.
Levi? Is that how you say their name? EMA. They're
Huh?
from your chat. In the chat.
Yeah, you may. I say you may.
Ema?
EMA.
No.
Ema.
I wanted to say something to Matt
Sorry.
before we get too far away. But
Yes.
to Mary Black, I feel like we'd be on the same wavelength because after The Last Jedi came out, everyone was talking about Broom Kid. And as soon as I picked up the visual dictionary and saw that his name was Tamiri Black,
I was like, nope.
no way. I was like,
There's
I
no
was
way
like-
they're setting him up to be a
I
main
was like,
character if his name is
instantly.
Tamiri Blag.
Instantly,
Sorry.
I was like, nope, all those theories are wrong.
Yep.
But
Blag is the next Skywalker, guys.
Yeah,
Come on.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love
it's a great
the
name.
first thing we did was like, he has a name. It's awful. Okay,
All right.
that's it.
Close
Close
that book. Move on.
There it is.
No one can just take symbolism at face value.
No.
Yeah,
He
Brent.
has
So,
to be the main character from
so
now
Brent brings up. I wonder if they're shooting Andor seasons 1 and 2 back to back. I mean, that's been thrown around a lot
Lord of the
lately.
Rings style.
and
Yeah,
on.
right.
I mean, they've been filming since November, right? Something like
I think
that.
been,
that's
It's horrific. No,
And they're still
already
filming.
filming.
It's either that or there could be some something that's holding up production in some way that's
I don't
slowing
know,
down.
'cause already
the
we haven't heard
process.
anything about that.
Already-
Shooting back-to-back seasons would be a great idea in case, like, God forbid,
Oh.
another pandemic happens or something gets worse. They won't
Another
be able
They're
to shoot
front
again.
loading.
So
They're
they can get
front loading
ahead
Who
of it.
knows, man?
Yeah.
So during December, I don't know if you guys remember this. I mean, I imagine you do. But they released like that was one of the few shows that they had a full 2-minute reel
Yeah.
ready to
I love
go.
that.
And production was
Yeah.
already so far underway.
Yeah.
They had built these huge
Yeah.
sets. They had made like 2,000. They had like 2,000 extras or whatever. Neil Scanlon was like, "Look at all the creatures I made already." Like they,
Like,
have
I don't
been-
know.
It's crazy.
I don't know if this is a symptom of them not using the volume, where they have to film everything on location, so they're like traveling around and like setting it
I mean,
different
I
things
think-
up, or
I think
I
it's
mean-
just a huge amount of content because
Oh,
I
they-
believe Neil
They
Scanlon
probably only
said
have so many volumes.
there's like 12 episodes, right? Something ridiculous.
it's 12
like that.
episodes. It's 12 episodes at least for season 1. And Neil
That's
Scanlon
12-hour-long episodes.
And Neil
That's
Scanlon
12 hours
said-
of content.
Fantastic.
I believe Neil Scanlon said it's more creature work than like the first 2 sequels combined or something like that. And I was like,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
man.
More than
Interesting.
Canto Bite. Good luck.
Is he going to be smuggling some rat
We talked about this
Yeah.
on our podcast a bit, guys, but I definitely see Hera and the Spectres showing up, the Ghost Crew showing up in
I'd love that.
Andor.
At least
Now that
Terra
we
in
have-
live action.
Now that
Yeah.
we have Hera in live action already, well, technically live action in video game form,
Yeah.
That
Um,
CGI, while
wow.
great, not quite.
it's good enough. It's
Close
her
enough.
real.
It's,
It's
it's
her.
really good though.
What's
yeah.
the word? Photorealistic model. It's her
Yep.
Sure.
photorealistic.
I can't
model.
argue that.
That's and they'll probably bring the same. I mean, is that
I want a
Vanessa
person with
Marshall?
makeup
Yeah.
like with
Okay, so
Ahsoka
then-
Tano, like
so they
you know,
can
see
bring
in
her in
season
and-
seven.
I mean,
make her up.
technically in Rogue One, General Syndulla gets called on the comm.
That's true.
so-
And
Yeah,
Chopper
and you see
appears in the
Chopper roll
background.
by.
Hey, what's
Yeah.
up?
Chopper and
Yep.
the Ghost.
for like a
Probably-
frame.
Yep.
Hey, someone's flying the Ghost, right? It's probably Hera.
You do
It has
get-
to be
yeah,
Hera.
and-
It's
And
definitely
Rise
of
no one
Skywalker?
else is going to fly. No, in
No,
Rogue
in
One.
Rogue One.
No, in
Oh,
Rogue
sorry.
One.
I got
Rogue One.
excited.
I mean,
But
in
in
Rise of
Rise of
Skywalker,
Skywalker.
it has
It's just
to
like,
be.
can I talk about Tross, guys?
Statistically,
Tross?
it's gotta be
Jason.
there
Has to
somewhere.
be Jason Syndulla.
Did someone say Tross?
Don't say Tross.
Jason Syndulla has so much potential, and I just want to say that right now.
Did someone say Tross?
Having Ezra train Jason after his father trained him. Oh,
No,
man.
be great.
And then
Highly
also have
possible
him be a
for,
really good
Ahsoka.
pilot.
Oh yeah,
Jason might
has to a
be
good
Jason
pilot.
might be the Kyle Katarn equivalent in
I
canon.
feel.
Sorry
I
to say
fear-
that,
Yeah.
Jack.
I feel in fear that we may never see Jason Syndulla again.
I
You've
mean,
watched-
a Kyle,
You're crazy.
a Kyle Katarn has to be a very specific mold. That's a
He has
tough
to have a
shoe to
beard.
fill.
I know that.
This
Yep.
is just kind of the lightsaber and a bunch of questions.
Yep, yeah.
I wish they showed Hera in Rogue One
that's fair.
and in Rise of Skywalker.
No,
but
no.
hey.
In Rouge One.
Ghost
Rouge
Spectre
One.
1 standing by.
Rouge.
The makeup
all
was
needed.
just fantastic.
Absolutely.
In Rouge One.
Rouge.
We've been set up. It's a rouge. Is that right?
Who wants to
Okay.
watch
Bodhi just Rouge. Rouge
Levi
won,
and I's
Jin's like,
reaction
what are you
to
talking
He's like,
Hera.
sorry, it was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, it's like,
Sorry, man. I've been tortured for a couple weeks. It's been rough.
Oh shit.
What did you say, AJ? Let's roll it back.
No idea what's going on
Where'd I
right
go?
now.
Oh, I'm still here, right? Okay.
Yeah,
I
you're
went to
still
look
here.
at a video and it said camera off, so I got confused.
Yeah, you're,
Um,
you're
you were
still
here.
on.
I was trying to pull up the video reaction of Levi, and Johnny reacting to the Hera reveal, but I think I failed. I failed you guys. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
what happened?
The greatest teacher of failure is
Mm.
You'll learn how to
Everybody
do it
to
next
save my
time.
soul.
no.
So
I love the. Oh, go ahead.
10
I
out of
loved
10
how
episode?
Hauser is definitely conflicted.
Yes.
And he's taking
Hauser.
his helmet was
Yeah,
off
what's up
for
with
like
him?
90% of the time.
He's still got his. He's still got his paint.
So yeah,
Ballast
and
is
his
great.
armor is still heavily painted up, and so either he is actively fighting
not
the
a
chip,
jerk.
or he's taking it out already, and he's just playing a ruse here. And I don't
ruse.
know,
Rouge?
and
Rouge.
he's playing a rouge. I'm very excited to see like what develops with that, because a few of his
Yeah.
other soldiers as well, like just regular grunts, a few of them were also painted up. But majority of them were just the standard like a white armor, no additional stuff there.
Mm.
Quit saying ballast, AJ. It's
It might have not been me. I think it's Johnny over at Elden Ring.
I don't
Because,
think I don't. No, none of the grunts were. Only he has the color.
there was a
Well,
couple.
so-
I noticed. Believe
If
me,
Sid
I was
gets a
looking at the
job-
clones.
I just watched. You're thinking there's elite squad troopers there who look different. There's
If
the
Sid gets
they're
a job,
recruits.
We're
I
not
will
doing this
challenge
right
you.
now.
I challenge
We're not
you.
doing this right
I
now.
challenge you, Jamie.
Oh no,
Chad
guys.
is
We're not doing this right
I
now.
challenge you.
our boy Chad here is on point. I think today with all these things.
Yeah,
I think
because like
Hauser
if,
is
Going
going to join the Bad
Disney
Batch.
I'd cry. I have his figure pre-ordered. I'm so excited.
if they
it.
have to go, if Sid takes them on a job to go rescue Hera, then yeah, I mean, no.
It's
brainer.
interesting that they're still
I'm not
working
Hera.
for Sid, by the way.
Yeah,
Just
out
wanna
of
Yeah,
the
point
blue.
well,
They're like, oh,
they
Sid
still have to
wants
make a
meet you here.
profit.
They gotta
They had to
money.
make their money back, and now they're like, okay, we're back at zero, so let's make some money now that we've been here for
Wrecker,
like months.
cool it on the Montanics.
You know what?
Yeah.
I have to say though, I actually really liked this episode because there was like no Bad Batch in it, and I don't know why
Yeah.
I like
No,
that
it's a
so
weird.
much.
I
But
agree.
it felt
I was-
almost like the Clone Wars. With
Where's
the
my
anthology,
elephant?
Like, now we're going over here in this part of the galaxy, and we're going to explore some stuff over here. Not every episode has to focus on the Bad Batch, and I really
Exactly.
like that. And I
It
really
was
hope
just
that
enough
they,
of it.
I really hope that there's a response to this episode, so that in season 2 they kind of catch the hint, make
a
more.
response.
side
Everyone-
It was
things.
really
As far
just
as I
enough of
know.
it where they can like show like
No.
the extra stories and like really
Well,
build out everything else. And like
There's
it
been
was
a lot of distaste for this episode.
The reason
Has
I
there?
started off the way I did was
How?
because at first I'm like, okay, this is the most heavy-handed cameo I've seen in this show yet. And I like Mandalorian when it's not overly connected, even though some of those scenes are amazing. I like Bad Batch when it's not overly connected, and the
Yeah.
cameos that we've seen so far have been really nice and light and enjoyable. But this was like, okay, so no real Bad Batch content. Okay, but
I'm fine with that.
but I
I'm fine with
really
that too.
loved getting
They
to see the
cameoed.
Bad Batch from an outside perspective.
Yeah.
Like
That
I
was
was like,
cool.
oh,
Yeah.
it's the Bad
how
Batch.
a bunch of strangers would perceive them.
They
was really
cameoed in
cool.
their own show.
Yeah.
It was
Which
good.
is
They did.
impressive,
Worked out.
honestly.
So at the end of the day, like I was like, okay. And I think that once I see the next episode, I think I'm going to love it more because I'll have that extra context. I won't be left with a week-long cliffhanger. Although I do love that anticipation. I think I'll be more satisfied with this episode in connection to the latter.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I've been very outspoken. I'm the opposite feeling of everybody's like, oh, I want Mandalorian to be its own thing. I want, these like self-contained stories. I'm like, nah, connect to everything.
Me too.
Put everybody
Connect it
in
all.
everything. Just connect it all.
Connect
Like
it all,
I'm
everywhere.
a big sucker for those large scale cameos. I don't know why. I mean, I know why because it just
I mean, I think they did
Yeah,
a few
hopefully
I
too
love
many
it just as
My
much.
brain- that makes me clap, and that's it. I like that.
clapping monkey.
Clapping monkey. It's like when you squeeze the puffer pig. I have to clap. If you put
That
Luke
guy's in Star
Skywalker
Wars.
in the show, I will clap.
It's like a
Oh dear God.
Elaine watching the tires in Seinfeld, and she's like, "Oh, that's you,
Yeah.
Oh, Billy, we know
I
it
love
is.
that Elaine. Dumb Elaine.
dumb
Yes,
Elaine."
That's Elaine.
Yeah, it's definitely leading into being a two-parter episode. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, so
next-
Levi is
next
pretty much
episode-
confirming it anyway. But
Next
like
episode is Rescue on Ryloth. So
So
from someone who doesn't look ahead
Huh.
into things, the storytelling is leading that way.
I
Oh, yeah.
wonder.
Yeah, gee, I wonder who's being rescued.
Also, Jamie,
I wonder
I'm
who's
gonna
gonna
hard
rescue them.
Hundo P. There are no clones who are colored besides Ballast.
Uh-oh.
Did you say Hondo? Because that's the one cameo I really
Hondo!
need.
I wish.
He's
Oh my god!
Where's
Like,
Hondo?
we
This
need to
is-
know how he loses everything.
This is
We
the
need
middle
to
chapter
know.
of the animated trilogy. Of course, we're gonna get a Hondo cameo. We're gonna
Yeah.
probably have a lot of Hondo
What is he
cameos
gonna do?
eventually.
Forgot my roommate's home.
It was funny talking
I
with
thought you were
the,
going up
Close
and like
the
getting
door.
Hondo.
Where are you going?
No.
with the all new nerds
Realize I should
last
close my
night.
door if I'm going to be Hondo.
It was funny. One of you guys mentioned, I don't know if it was you, Levi, or Johnny, or what, but I was like, oh, we need to get Boba. Like, we're running out of time. But I'm like, hey, we still have like season 2, season 3.
Yeah.
So
I was
most
saying
likely.
that there's not enough time for Boba in the show.
No,
Is
he wouldn't-
season 2 confirmed? Because I'm treating
think
this
so,
as a
yeah.
miniseries
Jordan,
until
there
it's
are
confirmed.
Are you really?
reputable
Wow.
sources that have said that there's going to be a season 2.
Yeah.
Look, there's so many rumors out there. If I take them all with a grain of salt, my sodium intake's going to be through the roof by the end of the day. So, quite frankly, I have to just ignore
Too much
ignore
sodium.
them as much as
It's
I
like
can.
Lay's potato
Too much
chip
salt in my
bag
diet.
My diet.
My doctor said I have to cut back.
So
What's going
there.
on?
Oh yeah, we didn't get Boyle and Numa. But Numa's
Ooh.
still a little girl, I think.
well, I think
Yeah,
Boyle
she'll
younger
only be
than
like a
Hera.
few years older.
Yeah.
Not that
Maybe
much.
next week. Maybe
one of
next
them's
week.
dead. One of them died on Umbara.
Yeah, no, Waxer died.
Waxer
Boyle,
died.
Waxer had a cooler name. I wish Boyle died,
Mm.
but it's Boyle, so
Yeah. And Numa would just be like
When did Waxer die? Was that on the rescue?
That was on
mission
Umbara.
with Tarkin?
That was
Umbara.
on Umbara
No,
when
it
they
was
end up shooting
Umbara.
at each
it
other.
was when
okay.
they set them up to shoot at each other, and then like Waxer dies of friendly fire,
Wait,
and he like
Great
cries
Clones.
and dies.
he
and I'm
cried.
like,
We're sharing
Yeah,
it
oh,
with
it's
us.
one of the most
so
brutal
dramatic.
scenes in all Clone Wars.
Dude
He-
couldn't save him.
His
I
head
hate
goes
the bar
best.
arc.
his head
Yeah.
goes limp, and the tear rolls out of his eye, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
you're
Rex
like,
is
Are you
just-
kidding?
It's
And that's a
We did a
good show.
funny comparison to Ponkrell the other day on our podcast.
That's true.
He makes me think of Bubble Bass from SpongeBob, so that's all I can see. now.
He's the Dolores Umbridge of Star Wars, if you ask
Guy
me.
you
Yeah.
love to hate,
That too.
hmm
the evil guy who you love to hate.
I don't know if
What was
that's
I gonna
true.
say?
Magic Fire.
What?
Magic Fire said just joining, but I love how everyone in the 212 just has a skin themed name. But like Cody is not,
Cody?
Wooly is not. Those are the two that come to mind immediately who are part of the 212 that I know. What's his face?
Yeah, there's not even a way I can twist Cody into being like a joke. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I was trying. That's why I'm silent right now. I'm trying to come up with
Yeah.
a joke. but I can't.
Speaking of clones, Jamie, I'm serious. I want you to try and find what you're talking about.
Yeah, Blurgs.
on the-
Blurgs on
Hang on,
Ryloth.
I gotta get everything up
that's,
now.
That's where we first saw them. Well, it's not where we first saw them,
Bubble
but
Bass
it's where
is
we
voiced
saw them
by
in
D. Bradley
Clone Wars.
Baker. Holy
Oh my
smokes.
god, is
That
it?
makes sense. That
That's
makes so much
amazing.
That's
sense.
hilarious.
And make
You
it sweet.
forgot the pickles.
Blurgs.
Yeah,
Oh,
Blurgs.
Levi,
Yeah,
Love
First
Blurgs.
stop Blurgs in canon. In
start
Yeah.
start gushing about all the gunship and the tank showing up.
yeah.
Oh, here in that Republic
I was so
gunship.
excited. to see
Imperial gunship.
the Juggernaut, the
Yeah.
clone turbo tank, but it's like the version we see in Rogue One, which is really exciting.
It
And
looks so
yeah,
good.
you're
too.
so good with like the
Yeah.
suspension, and even the
Oh, wow.
interior is modeled after what it looks like in Rogue One in the seats,
Yeah.
which is
I
really
didn't even
cool.
think of that. That's awesome.
I walked away as you said blurgs, and I'm like, oh yes, my babies.
We
There
talked
they
about
are.
the Imperial
the
gunship
blurgs.
as well.
And then
Whoa.
seeing a gunship again is like really cool. Seeing it being Imperial, but I think I was more excited by the clone turbo tank. But
Yeah, that was
seems
really
that Imperial interior aesthetics for their ships all have to have mist and really cool lights. Like really
Mhm.
bright
Yes.
lights inside.
Required.
very cool.
That's just how it is. It gets very humid in those
And
Imperial ships.
after seeing the ATTEs imperialized last week, we've gone through all the vehicles, and it makes me really excited to see like the Imperial
Yeah.
arsenal, but it's the Clone Wars stuff, and we know some of
And
it's
then we're going to see them shift even more.
Yep.
Yeah.
There
that's
is
gonna be
one.
exciting.
There's one important thing we haven't talked about yet that I'm just remembering that I want to mention before I forget it again. But we saw Crosshair without his helmet, and he's not a scarred, messed up dude. He's just got a
It's on
little
the
bit.
back.
It's got,
Little
I don't
tiny
know.
What's
patch.
going
He's
on
got a
on the
Zuko.
side
He's got
where
a
the
Dude,
chip
it's a-
is on
Zuko going
his
on.
head?
He's got a
Yeah,
little
dude.
patch of Freddy Krueger right here, and that's it.
it's pretty gross though. He's got a
What's
chunk
going
of
on
his
with
like
that?
skull missing.
He's got a
But he
rash.
does. He looks better than we thought he would. I think.
for
Yeah.
having gotten burned by a ion thruster, like
He's
it's doing
bald.
pretty good.
we thought he was
Lost
gonna have like a
area.
breathing tube or something.
Dude,
and
I
this
thought
and
he was
that,
going to
but-
be like full on messed up.
I think
but
that's the
he's fine.
craziest thing about it is like when he gets
Deadpool.
burned, like the entire
Yeah.
like left side of his face is bandaged up. The right
But then
side is like
the half-
barely like done, but like this is where like all the scarring was, and
Well,
it's like
Jamie,
That's
when I
why
was
that's
thinking-
why they're scarring on the right side. They didn't wrap it up properly.
A wizard did it.
I was thinking maybe
They didn't have
like,
kicks.
maybe they just kept digging around where the chip is because they keep putting
Ouch.
him under, and that's just like where they keep ripping out skin, and they're like,
Stop
well,
it.
might as well just make a quick entryway to his chips.
Craft.
Cut it out.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Because that was the only thing. Because you're absolutely right. It burns the other side of his face, not that side. So
Yeah,
A little crispy.
a little crispy.
yeah, they got a nice tan.
Medium
Yeah.
rare
Crispy.
crosshair.
Yeah.
A new
medium rare
haircut, a little
crosshair.
crispy.
Yeah.
Jamie, where does Crosshair keep the toothpicks?
Where does he keep them? In
I
a box
watched
on
him.
his belt.
It must
Although,
be, right?
Unsure,
That would
because
be where
it
I
looks
put it.
like with the Imperial like armor, it doesn't necessarily look like he has something, but on his Bad Batch armor, he literally had like a little box that was like suspiciously
has-
toothpick size.
And these are just like wooden toothpicks. Like they just make wooden toothpicks in Star Wars.
I mean, Cad Bane said
I
this
was
too.
watching a Rick and Morty episode, and it was one where Summer was just choosing to use a toothpick, and it like came up later in the plot. But
Yeah.
she was just like, "Look, I chew toothpicks now. Okay, I'm a toothpick person. All I could think of was Crosshair."
That's dude. You have
I
to be a
love
very
how
specific kind of guy to be a
the
toothpick
first scene
person.
you
Cheeky
see him
and
without
choice.
his helmet. In this episode, when you see him without the helmet, literally he takes it off, it's toothpick in, says like 2 words, and
Yeah.
then he leaves.
Toothpick out, helmet on.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you think
boy.
part of him being in the Bad Batch is that he used to smoke too? He's
Yeah.
really bad.
It's his
Batch.
coping mechanism.
The
He's
action
like
is
Han.
real
He's like
bad
Han
batch.
from Fast and Furious. He's
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
I
yeah,
used to
yeah.
smoke death sticks. It helped my aim.
I did
What?
notice though. I did notice he has those mirror things from the Clone Wars on his belt again. I'm
Mhm.
excited to use those again.
Oh yeah.
Those things are
Yeah.
That's like the coolest scene, like from their Clone Wars arc when
Oh, absolutely.
That
He
gets done.
sets up the It bounces the one shot because we haven't really seen him. His most impressive shot this episode is when he took that ship out of the sky, which I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
is we see that ship. It's a deep cut, but it's the ship that Padme and Jar Jar are on Naboo when it's the Blue Shadow virus.
Ooh.
It's the same model.
Really?
Good eye. It's
Yeah.
a really cool design.
I'm a
Not great if
freak.
you're smuggling because you have
I'm-
to like lift it up the ladder.
I believe Baron
I-
Papanoida uses it as well.
Papa
I was going to
Noida.
ask about the ship while we were watching, but I didn't want to talk too
Yeah,
much.
it's just
so.
a model ship. I think those are the only 2 times we've seen it before.
What were you going to say, Matt?
I just like Papa Noida. He mentioned Papa Noida, and I have
Oh,
to
okay.
clap for that too. 'Cause that's George.
No idea.
or hey, but yeah,
How
I
about
was just saying
Cham?
the shot where he just takes it out of the sky, just hits the engine. I was like, that's really impressive.
That
Also,
was sweet.
the tracker.
Oh yeah,
The
a classic
tracker, yeah.
Clone War
Yeah.
relic tracker.
How about Cham just going like absolute savage on the like with the spear on the
Dude, we
that was
talked about
sweet.
okay. We talked like last week or the week before about how they need to bring back speeder
Yeah.
jousting.
Yeah. I
And here
brought
it
up
is.
as a reaction.
We got it. We got it. They listened. I told you they were listening. I told you they were listening.
I
And
like
they
how
gave us a
Cham
guy on a spear with a spear on a speeder.
he switched over to like the he set his blaster for stun like for the last clone he shot,
Yeah, why
but
did
it
he
made
do
like
that?
the 3 before he just like brutally murdered. So it's like okay, he wanted to keep the death count a little low.
Yeah. Well, he was like
So.
the sensors are watching.
Like
Can't
I
stand
said
too many
last
people.
time, it's a pain in the butt to change that safety setting. So I mean, like, what's 3 clone lives when you have to change a setting mid battle? I mean, it's just
I know,
not worth
Honestly.
it.
crazy.
And I really
So
enjoyed
inconvenient.
Cham in this episode because we've seen Cham at the beginning when he's fighting against the Separatists, and then much later when he's fighting against the Empire, and he's just in the middle here where he wants it to be over so badly
Mhm.
that he's been fighting for so long that he just is so willing to just have peace that he's willing to trust the Empire. Even though if you go back and watch Clone Wars, he predicts all this stuff. He's like, what if the clones just stay and you guys just become the occupying force? And he's saying this to Orn Free Taa then and with Mace Windu's
Yeah.
there. And he's like, this is just what's going to happen. But
Dude, that-
after 3 years of fighting with the clones, and he is just he wants to, it's for Hera. Like he wants Hera to grow up in a not war world. He doesn't want the war environment. He doesn't want to have the same thing happen. And him going through those motions of being like, yeah, we got to do it for the peace. And then he's buying the devil's deal. It's the name of the episode. He's taking the deal. But then after they come for his daughter, he's just like, no, I can't. I
Mhm.
can't do it. I can't do it. He's like, I have to fight for another like 2 decades.
That's why he's That's why he's Chad Syndulla. It's
Okay,
Virgin
Levi.
Order Free Taa and Chad Syndulla.
Timestamp 1721. This is
God.
the shot that I'm talking about.
Oh,
Hold the
Jamie, real quick,
Yeah?
Mailurun.
I sniped those a mile away. Oh, I
Yeah,
saw
those
the
are the-
Mailurans.
those are the
Hera
elite
loves the
squad.
Mailurans.
Those are the
But
elite squad troopers.
they have a stripe up the middle like that? Up the middle
Yeah,
of the
dude.
helmet?
Yeah, that's the Elite Squad troopers.
It looks
Those
like regular white armor, but like with like the
No.
stripe up the
Look,
middle. That's
see,
why I was confused.
See, they have the green visors. Those are humans.
Can you
not
guys share your
Uh,
screen or something?
No, Disney
I'm
Plus
not
will
on
kill
the
us.
screen.
Oh,
I'm on the TV.
Lucas
'Cause
will
I'm not-
guess.
Yeah, Disney,
you're
Well, no,
Disney
you
will
can't.
snipe me in the head. But it's
Is there
just
like
the
a
it's just the
screen?
You
Elite
can on
Squad.
Firefox.
It's the Elite Squad who's been running around with it's Crosshair's groupies. We're like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're cool too. We're humans. We're recruits.
So we
I
go-
did
go
not know
back
there was a
to
stripe
the-
up the center of their helmet.
Yeah, it's trust me. As a Black
Looking
Series
back at
collector, it's a whole
replacements.
thing because the Black Series it looks nothing like the actual figure.
That's what I'm referring to because I'm like, huh? Okay.
why did they change
alright.
Ballast
What do you-
Snake?
Yeah, they do. I'm looking at
Good
I'm
question.
looking at the episode replacements, and yeah, they just got that stripe up the top. That's it.
Yeah.
What do
Why
we
did they
think
make him
about
Hauser?
the older clones? They seem a little bit resistant to Order 66. Their chips are just a little bit older and slow to
I don't
react.
know.
or-
I don't know if it's an older clone thing. That's a thought that I had earlier. Is that Ballast likely? Sorry, Hauser.
No.
Hauser.
No, you were
Hauser.
right. It's Ballast.
Likely didn't
Hauser.
have a Jedi because the general he was serving with was Cham, so he probably didn't have to execute
Ooh.
Order 66. And
Ooh.
so even if his chip went off, he never had to. He's probably hasn't seen a Jedi in like a few years, and so either that or he has a gnarly scar on his face, so it could have been damaged, or as we see in the Kanan comic, because he didn't have a Jedi, or like with Cutler Quain, you can just sort of reprogram the chip. In the Kanan comic, Kanan is talking to one of Gray.
Yeah.
You technically see him in the show, and he's able to break free of it.
And kills himself.
Kills himself. But if you've never met a Jedi or you've never fought a Jedi, then the chip, like the main code of the chip, isn't going to have as much of an effect on you.
I
So-
Are you
suppose,
sure about
but
that? Because
like,
every clone turned into a huge jerk after. Order
yeah, they're all
66.
jerks, and they're
Right.
They're
all
all jerks.
like
But
in the Bad Batch.
He's older, but the point, I don't know.
We see
I'm reaching.
Wrecker like go absolutely just nuts and start like trying to kill everybody. No, none of them are Jedi.
Right.
You'd think a Gen 1
It seems like they've like Order 66 at this point isn't just kill all the Jedi. It's also
Follow all the
persecute anyone who's
personalities.
not.
Yeah, it's just
It's
follow
helping
wipe
the
out the
Empire.
old. It's
So-
wipe out the old guard so that we can take over and start the Empire. Like
Yeah.
Order 66.
Yeah.
Killing the Jedi was just the first step.
It's a little
And
bit
then, like,
dubious.
Plus,
Because-
I love the theory, Levi. I love the theory. Like I like love it. But at the same time, I feel like it's not. It can't be that though, because again, like there definitely would have been like Jedi around, and like plus we don't know how long
Necessarily.
Hauser has been on Ryloth as well, because like obviously there was like the whole mission with the 212th on Ryloth, and Obi-Wan was he there? Yeah, he was there. So
And
like
I'm a gun die.
But I
Yeah.
imagine,
There
I
too.
imagine,
I'm a
that-
gun guy. No.
This-
so
right.
like
I imagine
Hauser
this-
definitely ran into like a Jedi at some point before, but probably hasn't for a long time. But even if Order 66 was delivered, it would have caused that change in personality for everyone because it happened to everyone. It literally happened to Rex.
not Cutler Quain though.
It's more
Plus,
likely that
he
this
was
is
off the
just a clone
grid.
who happened
No,
to
but
not
yeah,
be
he
as
wasn't-
affected.
He probably
Cutler
never
Quain-
even heard it.
But
Yeah,
Cutler
he's
Quain-
like Order 66. What's that?
Well, no, but it's a thing that they just activate in everyone. You don't have to hear
Is
the
it
command.
is it a switch? I thought it was directly
just-
from
I
the
thought you had to hear
command.
that. I thought it was a voice command by
Because
the Emperor.
No.
in like the radio, that's when
It's a
everybody
switch.
was.
I think it has to be a switch because there's
The
no
only
way
reason it malfunctioned in
Palpatine.
TUP was
There's no way Palpatine manually calls
why-
like a
He-
billion.
Well, no, but he can press
It was
a
a
button
recording.
and it'll just send it to everyone.
yeah. He just
Yeah.
sent out a mass. It's a reply all email.
Yeah, because why would he even bother to?
When he says
to show up
Commander
to those
Cody.
people?
The time has come.
Oh, so he
But
sends
if you
out a
watch, have you
custom
watched
message.
the supercut of all the Order 66 moments? I mean, like he doesn't
Yeah.
always say Commander Cody. When
Exactly.
You see it.
Nightly.
They're
Exactly.
seeing a broadcast. That is a very
No,
specific.
Jack,
part
I know.
Of the
I
trigger.
have to make it. No, I know that, but I'm saying for all the other clones who aren't commanders, I think it's gotta. I think it's just a trigger. But it doesn't matter. Tup or not? Sorry, Tup. You got Tup in my head. Cutler
Sorry.
Quain is the same
Oh, Tup
age.
had something in his head already.
Cutler Quain is the same age as all these other clones. Cutler Quain is only out of like he's only been rogue, quote unquote, for like 2 years. It's not that long. It's like 2.5 years that he's rogue, quote unquote.
That's like how long the war is, though.
Exactly.
2.5
I mean,
years.
he leaves after the
Like,
Battle of
immediately.
Geonosis, and
Yeah.
so like in that amount of time, him being with his family, he was able to reprogram that in his head.
I just think he didn't hear the command.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a voice command.
I think it's a combination
But that's
of
always how it's
obviously
shown.
obviously like with the physical
True.
chip in there, but like any sort of like mental conditioning, brainwashing type thing is it gets triggered by a word or a phrase, and so it's
Mhm.
not just gonna like. It's not like a sensor in the head where like you flick it and they like die. It's like
All
it-
the other clones don't
It is
hear
a
So-
chip, but you like that had to have been like they all have radios in their head. So what's to say that like they didn't? The commanders got the fancy thing, but everyone else just heard it as a result
That's what
of
happens
being
with the
next
Bad
to them.
Batch.
Right,
They
yeah,
they
because
hear
They're
the
just
comm.
in the
there's
vicinity.
literally like a point of like Tech says, "Oh, all the chatter says Order 66," and they're all like, "What's that?" And he's like, So
in Legends, in Legends, the clones didn't have chips, so
Yeah.
like they had imprinting, and the voice it was like a a Manchurian Candidate thing, and it was
Execute Order 66
Oh, and- and let-
please
but in-
CC your next clones.
in Legends though. There was also a lot more clones who just didn't do it because it was like just a loyalty thing, and it's
Yeah.
weird. It's convoluted, and I think it's just as convoluted in canon because to go back to the ballast freaking Hauser thing in Legends. There was a difference between the clone commanders and just like the normal clones. The clone commanders were bred to be more independent, so they could lead and stuff, and so they could think, more. I think Clone Wars kind of contradicted that. I know we're not in Legends anymore, but
Not in
I
Legends
think
anymore,
we're just in
Levi.
a simple situation of we're thinking too hard about Star Wars, and
I want to talk a little bit about
Star Wars doesn't always hold up under scrutiny.
Dunium, the metals and all
Dunium, yeah,
metals.
love that.
Oh
little
yeah,
toss in
Dunium.
there.
That's a good one.
So,
Shiny Dunium.
Levi reminded me at
You know
least
that
last
Dunium
night
for
that
Empire.
that's what they're doing on Ryloth, and that's in Lords of the Sith. That's what the kind of what's going on there, right, Levi?
No,
They're-
the Dunium itself is from, I think the first time it's mentioned in canon is in Rebels. It's like Price's in the Thrawn novels. It's what Price's family mining company mines. What she has
Okay.
to sell and stuff, and that's what they have on Lothal. They have Dunium.
Right.
It's a
in-
crafting component in Fallen Order for your lightsabers.
Yeah, it's one of my
Dunium.
favorites. Dunium.
Yeah.
Dunium.
But it's just like, yeah, as you said, it's for the Death Star, and you're right, Geonosis is nearby.
Yeah.
Hmm. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe the chips are made out of Dunium. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
No,
they're
the chips are
organic.
made of
It's
organic
made out
The chips
of
are
cells.
organic,
They're
right?
Organic.
planted at the
I still
earliest
always-
stages.
Oh,
That's
they're
something we
organics,
can all
but-
agree on.
No processed
Yeah.
ingredients. I'm trying
No.
to watch my figure.
No, I love how
Fucking chips.
when Hera
Organic
approaches the Havoc Marauder, I love how when she approaches, she's like, "I've never seen a ship like this," and Omega is just straight up just like, "Oh, it's a modified Omicron attack shuttle," and I'm like, "Oh, she said it. She said the entire thing."
Yeah,
And
you
I'm
mean the Bad Batch attack shuttle?
I love
Yeah.
it.
And then
Yes,
she's
I
like
mean the Bad Batch
memorizing all the
shuttle.
different targeting things. She's like, "Yeah, Tech won't let me use it until I memorize all this
No, it's
stuff."
a feeling, and then Omega's like, "It's a feeling," like with the little like tech like point and
Tech's
everything.
like,
and
"What's
Tech's like,
feelings?"
"What
Yeah,
is
Tech's like,
that?" I don't,
Feeling? I don't understand. You're
I
speaking
don't know
gibberish.
what
to me.
this
like,
You know I don't
the-
speak
the
Spanish.
the only Bad Batch members that talk in this episode were Tech and Hunter, and then like that's it. Obviously Crosshair, but like Echo
No-
didn't
no
say
Gonki.
a word. No Gonki.
No Ricka.
Wrecker's wrestling the crates around. I'm not even kidding. I like laughed my butt off at Wrecker just like kicking the crates like down like the steps. 'Cause-
He was doing a good job. And they gave
Just a
him
bunch of
all the
grenades.
crates. No one
Where
else
was
could help him with the
Donkey?
crates. What
Let's
are we,
be
what are we
Wrecker
doing?
grabbed them by himself, and they weren't going to tell him no. So
I guess.
Wrecker knows his
Seemed to be
role in the
struggling a
group,
little bit
and
with
he's
them.
happy to play it.
Didn't even have a
It's funny
single
when-
time.
When one of the crates was like coming out the door, I literally thought it was like Gonki falling out the steps.
Same.
at
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
We were all like,
Here I am.
What if they stacked one on top of Gonki and he's just trying to balance to walk it down?
They should have.
oh my gosh.
And then he goes home with Hera, and then he ends up in the Ryloth Rebellion.
He
Yeah.
just bats with Chopper.
Yep.
Joppa.
Chopper meeting Gonki, guys.
Gonk.
No, keep Chopper
could
away
happen
from
next week.
Conky.
Well, okay.
I don't trust Chopper with that.
We kind of
Yeah.
we moved away from the conversation because we got bogged down in canon stuff. But what do you think's going to happen with Hauser?
I think
think-
that one of two things I mentioned earlier. He either already is aware of what's going on and he's secretly working for something bigger, or he's just gonna like break from it himself. One of those two things.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna
Where's he
help
gonna
with
go?
whatever.
Yeah.
to Rex.
to Rex.
I mean,
Yeah,
we already
he's
know
gonna-
that Rex is building up something, and
Rex's
and
army.
the Bad Batch knows that. So if
Rex's
he's interested,
army.
I think I'm
Dumbledore's
gonna get his figure in January.
There you go. Maybe we'll know what happens to him by then. Maybe not.
It just makes me
Hopefully.
sad because I think it almost is confirmation that he'll definitely die if he goes to join with Rex. Because obviously
Yeah.
by Rebels, not only does he just not want to fight, but it's only Gregor and Wolf left. And so whatever rebellion he leads now has to
It's not gonna
fail
work.
like
Yeah.
spectacular.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's gonna be
As-
sad.
Yeah. That's gonna happen with most clones
Problem
if
with
we get this
prequels.
uprising. So
That's a good point, Millie. They gave D. Bradley Baker
Oh, he's gone. They gave D. Bradley Baker a.
We'll never know.
What did they give him?
What did they give him?
They gave D. Bradley Breaker. Wow,
Breaker.
Breaker.
I love how we can't. We just straight up can't say it.
It's a cursed sentence.
He's back.
He's back.
What did they
was
give
that?
him, Matt?
Sometimes it does that to me. Sometimes it just kicks me out.
You
did
didn't
they
finish
give him,
your
Matt?
sentence.
D.
did they give
Bradley
him?
Baker got a break in this episode because he wasn't voicing 100% of the cast.
He got a breaker.
He needed
Yeah,
a water
break.
break.
Yeah.
Oh, a Hauser figure as played by Ballast.
Yes. There you go.
Let's look at the chat.
There you go. That's That's it.
But thank you, Millie, for pointing that out
Compromise.
for me because
He was a great, and also
So-
I didn't realize Corey Burton also voiced Cad Bane. That was another one that I found. So.
That's right.
Did you know that D. Bradley Baker does the voice of the guy that says "bolds in the brash"? More like belongs in the trash.
Beautiful.
In fact, it's obviously because it's him. I
It's
urge
an art
everyone to watch it
collection.
now.
Millie
I have to go see what
snapped
other
you.
characters he
out of
was
Yeah,
existence.
SpongeBob.
I'm gone. I'm out.
Yeah, I got to imagine they are role farm. Boy, I
They
feel like
have to
they're-
be. It's got to
That
be
was my
like a
next
thing
question.
where Hera was like, "Oh, those rad badass people I just met. I'm gonna call them up to help
The Rad
me."
Batch.
And they're gonna the Rad Batch, and they're
The
gonna show
Rad,
up.
the Rad Dads. The Rad Dad badge.
They're gonna show up to help. I mean, that's got to be. A
Well,
lot.
Uncle
I mean,
Goldie
Glad
literally
Batch.
says, tells Sid to let us know if she has more weapons, and so he has her contact, and so like if anything, he can like send an SOS to her and be like, "I need help," and then she's like, "Well, guess what?
The
I'm in
old
luck. I got a
sauce.
crew
I'll
for
have my
you."
people call your people.
Literally, that's what it could be.
I want to see Uncle Gobi throw down next week. I want to.
Hell yeah! Is he
Well,
in
that'd happen.
anything else, or is he?
Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah, who's in?
Yeah,
Oh, he's in
yeah,
Rebels.
He was in
okay.
both. Yeah,
in Clone Wars and Rebels. Yeah.
I wasn't
not as
sure.
much.
Package
Not
deal
nearly as
with the
much
other
screen
schools.
time, but
Also
there.
voiced, yeah, as we said, by Corey Burton. Yeah, another, as Jack
Mhm.
pointed out. He does everything. I thought he sounded different though. You were right. He voices him in everything. For whatever reason, Gobi sounded different to me. Maybe because Corey Burton's getting older. But
Well, that's just the nice. It's either that can happen a lot. I mean, look at the Simpsons. Like 30 years out, like their
Yeah.
voices are not the same as they were. But like it's also like just making that informed choice to go. Okay, this is X amount of years between the last time we saw this character. I should do something to inform that.
yeah, Gobi's the guy who's all sad in the Ryloth arc, and Sham's like, Gobi,
Bath.
it'll be
Oh, no.
okay.
Oh God, that was too good.
Levi,
Yes.
Set me up, and I'm ready to go.
bring up your fun fact about what we think was that picture of the sky with the clouds.
Well, one
when-
of the
That was such a good shot.
Joel Aaron tweeted about this on Twitter. Yeah, he tweeted that one of the plates in the episode was just a photo from his vacation of Mexico, and he just like took a photo outside the plane and just like composited that in.
That's
and rendered it
crazy.
into the background. I'm like 99%
That has to be the sky.
sure
You're right.
It
that's
had to be the
sky.
Yeah.
like, orange one.
Yeah,
'cause
coming
it
back
looks
in.
like
It looked
clouds
like
of a plane.
It looked like a matte painting that you see in an Empire, the original cut of Empire. So
It reminded me of the X-wing chase on the ice planet, which name is escaping me on Mandalorian, with the X-wing
Oh.
and the Razor Crest.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, what is
the
that
name.
planet called?
It's,
Something.
it's the same one as the
I'd look it
beginning
up.
of the
as
show.
Beginning.
the pilot.
All right, Levi,
Yeah.
this is your department.
All
Come
I
on,
can
man.
think right now is Lamentus 1 because I'm in Loki mode. But
Jeez.
it's like
Mandalorian. Come on, Google.
The desert planets are-
Maldo Crease.
Maldo.
Maldo Crease.
Alright,
Arvala 7. Arvala 7's the desert planet. Yeah, Maldo.
Spider
Right.
Planet.
Do we
No.
know when do Hera and Kanan meet?
When
Do
they're
we know
like,
what
done.
age?
Much later from now.
Much
What about-
later.
yeah.
Because Kanan's a
Oh.
drunk.
Hera and Kanan are so.
He's still a little
good.
kid right now.
Yeah,
Best
I
Star
love
Wars
it.
relationship.
I
about
just really
14
love
years from now.
that we saw both Kanan and Hera. I think this episode made me like the Kanan cameo in episode 1 more. I think I've come to terms with it a lot more now that we have Hera and Kanan.
Jamie
in the
looks
show, and I'm
stunned.
Like,
The Kanan cameo didn't make you like the Kanan cameo?
I like
No,
the
'cause
Kanan
it read
cameo
on.
enough,
Did you like it?
but
But
Hey.
it retconned the comic.
Kanan and Hera are
It
peanut
It,
butter
it
and
was a
jelly.
divisive cameo.
You can't have one without the
Good.
other. You
yeah,
can, but it's not as good. So there's your advice for the day, everyone.
Thank you
The
for those
average
words of wisdom.
audience is going to just watch the
Well, of
movies
course.
and maybe watch the shows.
And I'm
They're
not
not necessarily
knocking them
going
for
to be
liking the
watching all the
cameo.
comics and the books. And so every time we mention it's retconning something, I'm sorry, I want to freaking throw something out the window.
But it
because
is. That's a
whatever is
factual
on the
statement.
screen is
But
what's
it's one of
going
those things
to
you just
be
gotta
the
relax
thing, and that's
about it.
literally
I
what
d-
it's
I
come
don't
down
care.
to at this point.
It doesn't-
Whatever
it
is
doesn't
on the
bother me
screen is going to
specifically.
be what the canon thing is, and canon, not canon, it doesn't even matter at this point. Why do we need to be so obsessed with canon?
No,
Because
well, I
like
am.
Because
it's
when
just like
somebody,
I am
I
too.
want to throw
Like what?
something.
what did
all the
I can
time.
always
say?
go back and replay
What did Michael
the Jedi
say,
Knight games if I
Jamie?
want to see Kyle
Michael
Katarn, you know?
Michael had a very good point when he was on our show about these stories that people get invested in and read for years. Somebody could pick up the Kanan comic and read it a million times and then have it overwritten in the show and be a little hurt about it. I personally wasn't, but I understand other people are.
Like
I was.
it's still a really good story. Like
It
I
was a really
accept
good
that there
story,
are
and,
really good stories
you know,
on
you've
like
heard
both
my
sides.
argument for it a
But, like, what's
million
always going
times.
to
So-
be like the preference is like the by like the company is the one that you're seeing on screen because that is the broadest audience that they're getting.
If I may,
nobody said
term
otherwise.
Legends, the term legends is, now it's how we think of the old canon. But I think it's a good way to remind ourselves what the first thing any of us ever saw of Star Wars, assuming that you sat down and watched the movie right at the beginning to run into it, is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. The only stories we see in that time period are legends, myths. And
Right.
so,
Ooh,
what
I see
I
Bruce.
think of the origin of, say, Hercules could differ from yours. And that's not a big deal because it's still just as, we still understand the same character at the end of the day. So I think, when we get into these moments of like, we're fighting over, or not fighting, but, we're disagreeing over like how to treat these different canon moments. And while it is frustrating to see them say with one story that is going to have a wider audience that the other one isn't technically accurate, like Jamie said, you can believe whatever you want to believe.
Well,
You
yeah,
can
I mean,
focus on whatever you want.
I've used the bare bones argument this entire time to defend it. And again, I'm not saying that I was mad about the retcon. I'm just saying that it was divisive. It was a thing that in the canon, not everybody was super stoked about. And
that's not something that says it's good or bad. It's a reflection of this is what happened when people saw it. Like, well, it's still annoying that people like take it a little too seriously. It's the same with The Last Jedi. I love the movie, but it was a divisive movie. And
what I'm saying
that's
is
not a
now,
bad thing about the movie. It's just
I feel like it was more
In-
justified. I feel like
recent-
there's a reason for the cameo. There was a reason for the retcon. Dave Filoni sat down and said, I want to put Kanan and Hera in the show together. As opposed to before when people were saying, oh, it could have been, they didn't have to do it with Kanan. They could have done it with another person. Now
Makes
I
more sense
understand
now.
why it had to be Kanan.
What
Yeah.
is the
agree.
line we kind
I
of
see what
keep
you're saying,
seeing
Matt.
appear? Ahsoka said it in
There's
Rebels.
always truth in legends.
There's always
Yeah.
truth in legends. So
I want to jump in
That's
here
the short version of what I was
because I
doing.
think out of all of this, I
Right.
was definitely the most
you
mad.
did a good job, Jack.
I was definitely the most mad about the Kanan retcon. And firstly, Brent, in terms of he's talking about when Hera and Kanan meet. They meet for the first time much later on. I don't think they're going to meet as kids. That would be really weird. But in terms of this case of Kanan, it's a little bit more nuanced. We're talking about these large canon things, but the Kanan comic was
Kanan
written
canon.
the Kanan
was
canon.
was,
I'm
was
sorry.
written by Greg Weisman, who was a Rebels writer in conjunction with the Rebels team to make it work with Rebels. Like the Rebels team made that comic so they could reference it in the show as they do, with frickin' with Fen Rao in the Battle of Megiddo, which is referenced in the show, with Depa Billaba and like the run thing, like that's all in the show, and they wrote that with one of the writers of the show wrote the comic. So it's like it's a little different where it's not just some other thing that like in Legends where like George Lucas made a movie and then someone completely disconnected wrote an idea about that thing. The Kanan comic was marketed and explicitly made as a tie-in to Rebels to validate and explore and expand the Kanan character more. And so when they contradicted that, it was just like, why? Like of all the contradictions to do, like this is the one where you were like, this really counts. Like Canon has always been this thing. Canon has always been this thing where it's like, okay, it exists outside. These stories may or may not have happened. But this one thing was explicitly like, this one really counts, guys. It says Star Wars Rebels on the cover. We got the writers from Rebels to make this thing. This one really matters. And then it didn't. I was like,
kind of to go off the canon stuff here. Like a way I kind of avoid the chaos of all this and like think about it lightly is like, we have the Fables and Legends books, that recently came out, and those are kind of like tall tales from across the galaxy. And then even like, at the end of Last Jedi, we see Broom Boy telling the story of Luke fending off the First Order. That kid doesn't know what force projection is. He's probably like, oh, Luke was really there. A lot of people probably think that, like in the actual galaxy. So So kind of like there's different ways to tell stories within the galaxy, and I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know
Cool
me.
myth thing.
Legends of Luke Skywalker is my favorite canon novel of out of any of the material.
Right.
Legends of Luke Skywalker is my favorite thing. I love those myths and fables books for that explicit reason.
Right. So I don't know. We all enjoy it. We all enjoy it. Nobody get confused here, even though we're yelling about God knows what. But
Of course.
hey.
Yeah, I'm sorry that was all triggered. I sorry, just like hearing retconning over and over again just really pisses me off, and I had to get all that off my chest. So
Yeah.
sorry.
Retconning doesn't necessarily have to be a dirty word.
No.
It just means
Yeah.
retroactive continuity.
There are
Plenty of
things
things
that
are gone.
Yeah,
Like,
but
look at-
everyone
filled in.
tosses it around so lightly nowadays that they literally recut an entire movie, and that just pisses me the hell off. But we're
Well,
not
that's true.
gonna talk about
Oh,
that.
right.
So
For Jamie, it's like the Bucky Barnes like red book term, like words.
Yeah.
Retcon
Nice.
goes and she's like set off.
retcon.
Laser eyes.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
WandaVision. I mean, retconning Wanda's origin a little bit. Like I was grumpy at the very first, but then I went back and rewatched. I'm like, okay, no, this actually, I can't argue against it. It works. All right, fine. This is different though because it is very.
I like that. I
Yeah,
like
see,
that.
thank
take,
you. That's
Royal
exactly
Farm
what I
Boy.
was, what
That's
I was
Yeah.
on
good. That's
about.
a
Good
good way to
take.
put it.
Yeah, legends are like these like just like Broom Boy was doing. This is oral tradition, like
people-
in its pure sense for them, and that's how legends got started. That's how the myths were begot.
Thank you, Nolan Schmidt. I think you're new to the chat here, but welcome in. Thank
Welcome,
you.
Nolan.
I'm glad you enjoyed our slightly tense conversation, but it was good. I mean, it was genuine, and it was we're
Yeah, I was
usually
gonna
having
say,
fun
what-
and laughing here. But it
What's
was
the
nice.
point? What's the point of having discussions if we can't get into the controversy weeds every once in a while?
Yeah,
Controversy.
We all
I
are
knew
passionate. So.
I knew out of the five of us,
It's a
I was
part of the
definitely-
conversation.
I was definitely the most distraught after the first episode of the Bad Batch. Like,
And I
this is-
remember it was funny because you
remember
and I
being
were
grumpy, yeah.
were winking about it the night before because we read the leaks
with
and
me,
we were
and I
like,
was like, what are you
excited
guys
about
talking
it.
Yeah, there's a great reaction gif of me just being
Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch?
depressed, just
Bad Batch,
absolutely
everyone.
depressed in the first 15 minutes of that
Yeah,
episode.
where was the Bad Batch?
I'm just like this because internally I'm just suffering because I'm like they just on my favorite thing, and I was just like crying on the inside. And I just wanted to bring it up again just because I think this specific case with Kanan is more nuanced than almost every other single part of the way canon usually interacts with the on-screen media. Like,
Gotcha.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
it's a unique instance of where it was a joint venture.
It does show a lack of organization from a company that has a group of people who are supposed to work with each other to help avoid these kinds of stepping on each other's toes. So
But I don't think.
it's
I don't.
a fair point.
I
But
think this was
the real
purposeful,
question is
not an accident.
is Wrecker going to bench Ta next week? That's what I really want to see. 'cause
Warren
I think
Free
he
Ta.
could, and I think it would. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, this
That would
is
be
the.
fantastic.
Is this the first episode where Wrecker doesn't hit his head?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
He's
right.
finally got a break.
he kind of bumped
And-
himself on the crate, but
Did Echo
Yeah,
sniff?
he may have like
Did Echo sniff the sniff counter?
Did he
What
sniff?
sniff count still at 2.
We're still at 2.
Okay, we have a
Sniff
sniff
count
count
is
going,
at
guys.
2.
what's
And
his second sniff? Or just
Well,
he
the
sniffs
popcorn.
twice?
There's a second-
Yeah, he-
The
There's a
first
second
one
sniffer.
is when they
He
walk
sniffs the
into
room.
the room on Camino, and he's
He's
like,
like,
"Ooh."
what is this?
It
See,
smells
before-
in here.
One last night.
Before this episode, before we got on and started chatting, I was gonna do like a ballast watch where we keep an eye out for ballast.
You didn't even
but
realize he was in the episode.
we did it, dude. I didn't even realize.
That's
That's
so
the
funny.
funniest thing. I didn't even realize it was him. I
It
was
was
like,
a
"Oh,
great-
man, where's this guy's figure?"
It was a great reaction last night where he shows up and everyone is like, "It's ballast," and then Cham looks, he goes, "Thank you, Hauser," and we're like, "What?"
Maybe there was a guy behind him
Just
named
like-
Hauser.
We're just like, "Huh?"
Maybe it's
Uh,
one of those cases where you think they're waving at you, but it's the guy behind you.
Oh,
I
he's
was
like,
watching
"Thank you,
through,
Hauser."
like you guys did the watch through All New Nerds, and like I watched it this morning at like 7 a.m. right when I got up, and so I recorded it like
Same.
my reaction, and it's really like lackluster. You like can't even hear my voice half the time because like I like can't speak in the morning sometimes. So at one point I was like, Hauser, Hauser, like. What? I like for like a solid like minute. I like had to pause the show because I was like, "Wait, who is this guy and what's going on here?"
Who
What?
are you people?
It was
Not
like,
reference.
a bit much. There's another one.
Yeah, 5 more possible sniffs. Thank you, Chad. You're right.
One
You have
for
5 more
episode.
5 more opportunities.
Right. So
Here's
echo
hoping.
count, sniff count is 2.
Echo still needs to get his new hand.
Yes, he does. That
All right,
needs
so
to
we
happen.
can put that up. We can put Echo's new hand watch.
Yeah.
Echo's new hand watch. Yeah.
Chopper's
It
gonna
looks
steal
sweet.
his hand.
I swear to God, if it's just an accessory for the hot toy, I'll be kind of mad because it looks
That's kinda
so
funny.
freaking cool.
That'd
Yeah,
be classic
that would-
action figure nonsense.
That would be
though.
classic action figure nonsense where they then turn around and put it in the show.
Wouldn't be
It's just
mad.
such a cool looking attachment. He's got like a freaking blade arm too. It's so
Like my
cool.
favorite detail on like Boba Fett's jetpack is the spot underneath where you put like the spring-loaded launcher, but they have it on the actual model that they use like in the shows and the movies too, like that little like slot. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that.
Guys,
I don't have my jetpack. It's in the shop, but
I have a new. I feel like that's a code. My Geiger counter's in the shop. Anyways, I had to get that out.
Yes, but
I
was
could have
carrying
literally
an
put
umbrella.
it down a bit like
We
this
just-
thing. Even this hole in the middle, right? It's an
me,
exhaust vent and cannon. I'm sorry.
Jamie, and Matt recently did a watch through of the Men in Black movies.
Hell,
My new
yeah.
theory is that you always see K call J like, "Oh, hey there, Hondo. Hey there, Cochise. Hey there, buddy." That's Hauser. They just call him like, "Oh, hey Hauser. Hey,
Hey,
Hauser.
Hauser."
Hey, buddy."
Hey,
There
Slick.
you go.
Hey, Slick. Oh man, that's great.
Hey,
Thank you,
there,
Hauser.
Oh,
But no,
Men in
actually,
Black has such
I
good, like,
have
alien
a fun
designs.
fact about that.
seriously.
So I was laughing at that this morning, and so I had it on the brain, right? And so I tweeted about how his name is Hauser, and originally I had two stupid theories why it was Hauser, but then someone gave me a third. I'll tell you the third one at the end, which is probably why it's Hauser. So the first one, someone really likes the musician Hosier, but that's probably not it, right?
Probably not it.
Second idea, in the animation studio, somebody said wowzers, but they're like, you know what, that's too on the nose, so let's switch it to an H. Hauser? That's definitely not it. What it probably is there's an artillery cannon called a howitzer.
Yeah, that's what I was
So it's
thinking.
probably that. They just did a play on words, made him Hauser, which makes
Definitely
a lot of
Doogie.
sense since he's a
I think
soldier.
definitely Doogie Howser.
Or someone was just a big fan
Oh,
of
that's a
Doogie
good
Howser.
one.
so-
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm
Oh,
surprised.
oh,
I'm
there's a
surprised
fourth
that
one.
wasn't one of them. Yeah, I was really excited.
I find it funny that right now on the Wikipedia page, everybody is as confused as we are. They have Hauser in like quotation marks
Right.
because they're not sure how to
Right.
name this character. Hauser was a clone.
Is he working undercover? What's going on?
Or
Yeah,
was
really.
he?
Yeah, Echo's had the scomp the entire time. It's the same one that he had from the Techno Union,
Yeah.
which is terrifying that they haven't like replaced it since then.
Yeah,
Hey,
people
this
were-
is
It
ass.
could be hacked.
Hey,
It's
hey,
gonna
guys,
pop out- it's gonna
um,
pop off his arm.
I'm
and
sick of this.
Walk around.
He
people were
could be
expecting
hacked.
people were expecting Darth Maul to show up for a while now because of the name Devil's Deal, and I was like, no. Before our watch party last night, I was like, no, I don't think so.
Okay, I would have been mad.
But during the episode, I think I like not this episode now with the Hauser thing too. It's just got like there's multiple instances where Maul just pulls up in a speeder. He's like, "Do you want a Devil's Deal?" it's like I was like, how's this gonna happen? Like what's
gonna
happening?
happen?
Like what do you
It's gonna
people want? And now with Hauser,
Am I the devil you're dealing with?
he's gonna defect and like he's gonna bust it. And he's like, I'm getting you out of here, Hera. And he's like, she's like, what's your name? He's like, the name's
Hauser.
Ballast.
Yes, that was what I was thinking.
The name's Ballast. Hauser Ballast. Then it's like,
Ooh,
like,
a
it's like,
clone of
alright.
two names.
Like,
Time
alright, cool.
out.
That'd be cool.
I mean, like,
The name's Hauser. Ballast
Ballast
Hauser.
Hauser.
Ballast
Like,
Hauser.
what are they doing with this?
he's something. Oh
I'll
man.
have a Bantha Chai shaken, not.
Yeah, I want Echo's go-go
Stirred.
gadget hand. God damn it!
I know.
We got 5 more episodes. So what are the
someone
names of
brush
the
me
rest
up?
of the episodes?
Yeah, well, Levi, what are they?
Yeah.
And then I have
We
another
have-
question.
Prophets.
we have Rescue on Ryloth, Infested, and War Mantle are the 3 we still have left that we know.
Okay.
Right.
We don't
Oh,
know
and then
the
the other ones didn't link.
2 more we don't know.
Infested's definitely a
I
pivot.
say I'm not good at
episode.
math, but
Yes, the last 2 we don't know.
Oh, they're gonna be spiders or
Infested.
something.
oh, or
Spiders.
something like the
Spiders.
Geonosis zombies.
Oh, I hated those.
Yeah.
I hated
The
those.
worm.
Ah,
Oh,
The
it
nose
could
worm.
be. I don't like that. No, thank you.
Nose
reminded me of
worm.
Yerks from Animorphs.
thank
What if it's
you.
Drangir? No, I'm just kidding.
No, no,
Drink
thank
it.
you.
No, it's
I'm thinking here.
No, thank you.
My question though, maybe Levi knows this the best. I always go to Levi's the librarian here. I go to him for all the stuff. As you can see, the
Levi,
books behind him.
librarian.
Archivist.
No, the archivist.
Archivist.
Call me Orbelin.
Brush me up on my ride.
We know his
politics.
archives are complete.
What So what's gonna happen next week? Do you think? And like, we know Cham stays on Ryloth, but
Well,
like,
I'm not a freaking fortune teller. So what happens next?
no, but like,
Right.
what do we know about the
Spill
Ryloth
your secrets, wizard.
government after this?
Well,
Up until Rebels.
As I mentioned, through Rebels and including in Lords of the Sith, like part of the plot of that book is that Cham's, free Ryloth movement is sort of at its apex at that point. For that time, it obviously comes back. But Orn Free Taa is still the senator. There's an imperial governor who actually we saw the moons, which I really liked. I mentioned it in the reaction. I was like, oh, it's the moons from Lord of the Sith. So
The moons are right off.
one of them is like that dormant one, and the other one you can see is like off to the side, and it looked bigger. Like that's where the imperial government resides, and they sort of leave the people down on Ryloth where Orn Free Taa can be he can run around his little kingdom and have fun and get drunk or whatever.
I think that those moons are mentioned in Resistance Reborn too.
Oh, that's
yeah.
what I was going to ask earlier.
Yeah, they are.
Cham doesn't make an appearance in Resistance Reborn, right?
No.
No. You think he is, and then it's and then it's the guy from Bloodline, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Geode.
What's his name? What's the dude's name from that?
It's the Twilight senator.
Hey, Geode
we
could have been
can't
in this
ru-
episode.
We
don't
can't
know.
rule him out.
He
He's
dude,
always where
there
he
were a
needs
bunch
to
of
be.
there were a bunch of giant geodes in
the
this
devil's
episode.
the devil's deal was with Geode all along.
The devil's deal was Geode allowing the Blurgs to push him off the cliff.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
that was it.
Serious one.
He took out a clone with the.
He's the original
Yeah.
rebel.
Yeah.
But in terms of the Ryloth government, I'm not really the nature of the question. We know that Orn Free Taa stays as a fixture for at least a while, and yeah,
Hey, he's
I don't
good
know-
at telling the
gosh.
future.
I don't know what to tell you. Cham's a fighter.
Go
He
into the
fights.
world between our worlds so we can find out what happens next week.
Yeah, he fights. That's what he does. And then his wife dies, and he gets sad, and Hera leaves.
Oh, and then his
That's what he does too.
He's gonna get real sad.
It's all a tragedy.
Yeah,
I think that next week someone will get rescued.
on
Yeah.
Ryloth.
There we go.
What,
On Ryloth.
baby?
But
Yeah.
who?
Oh,
And by
I can't be
whom?
wrong. Bye.
It can't
By Luke
possibly be the
Skywalker.
Bad Batch.
no,
But
it's,
I think Gobi. Who do you think contacted Sid about the weapon? It was Gobi.
Kobe.
So I think
Gobi.
Gobi's gonna reach out to Sid again. Hey, can
Yep.
those dudes come like?
Is
But
Gobi's
Gobi,
under arrest.
isn't
How about my
Gobi
bro?
under arrest though?
Dude, you said some dudes.
Hera would
Oh, yeah,
have
he
to.
You got any free
Maybe she
dudes right
spotted
now?
a
Any
frequency code on the
dudes?
ship.
I mean, like, maybe Omega gave her the frequency.
Yeah, like
I don't
let's
know.
trade phone numbers. You're cool.
Why not, right? I
Hey, yo,
loved
you
Omega
got-
showing
you-
off the room.
You got any dudes?
Hey, yo, it's Omega.
Any free
Omega.
dudes? No. Yeah, see, Brent, I know what you're saying about. I thought they just no. I don't think we lose Hera's mothers next week because Hera and Cham split when the mom dies. When later in life, like Hera's around like 17, I think, and so
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
all right. And then next week you're going to be mad because you're going to be like, I can't believe they killed her off.
Yeah, I mean that one's
We're gonna be
not
here.
like that one. That's a real read between the lines. Like that was never said explicitly. It's just in Rebels. It's implied that when the mom dies, Hera
Oh, that she
leaves
totally
on her
died.
own, like off Ryloth. She's like when
But who's to? If Kanan is able to go off on his own at such a young age, who's to say Hera's one
Yeah,
smart
but-
cookie? She could totally.
Hera's
do
not
it.
a Jedi, and Hera like she leaves on the ghost
fair.
and stuff. Like she
And
takes
Hera's
Chopper
like
and
barely a
stuff.
pilot at this point as well.
You're
She's
right.
still
You're
learning.
right.
Like,
So-
what-
Magic
She
Fire
never
brings
landed.
up Sid only does rebellion adjacent jobs. I think that's mostly because she probably wants to keep the Empire out of her business, right?
Yeah, because
So
the rebellion is closer to fringe than.
And once
friggin'
again, we brought this up
authoritarian.
earlier because
They're gonna pay,
Brent
yeah.
says one word retcon. It's one thing to retcon expanded material, but like Rebels is not.
Jamie's triggered.
Like,
Not the Dagobah fog again.
The Red Book.
Like
Oh,
it's
no.
it's Rebels. Like that's a main show. That's one of the main
Them
core
in these yets.
parts.
Yeah, and yeah,
Star Wars. I don't think they'd retcon that.
there you go.
Oh, and
Did
Moochie.
These are
you
good.
not?
Moochie.
Say it again. Say
Say
Retcon
it one more
one more
time.
time. One more
I
time.
thank you.
I think we need some.
Really, I
Um,
loved Hauser so much because he was teal and minty, and that's my
Dude,
favorite. And
Teal and
oh
I
my
love that color
God.
so much.
Like-
oh my
That was
god.
good.
That was
Good
sweet.
luck.
Oh my gosh.
A good clean classic clone
He
cut.
leads the Minty Legion.
A good classic
does.
clone cut. Excuse
Minty
me.
Legion.
A
Yeah, it
good
was
clean
messy.
classic clone
It,
cut.
it was messy. I
I
like.
thought it. I don't know. I thought it was pretty sharp myself.
It looked
You know,
sharp.
you,
Looked good.
you can't go to the
We're not gonna talk
haircut.
about
You
that.
can't
I've
go to
been talking to
hairdressers
my
every
friends
week.
about that
That's
today. We're not
expensive.
going to talk about that though. So, anyway, right? You're all guys. You don't get it. Anyway,
Spaced out. Anything else we want to talk about?
anything else?
No, we've been on for an hour and 15
It's
minutes.
been good. It's been fun. It's been
More
good.
sickos.
It's been
Good.
informational, educational.
Informational.
Informative.
We didn't really
Yep.
say it once. I don't even think we mentioned it. The freaking Chopper was also here, and he was the best.
Oh yeah, Chopper. Whatever.
We mentioned
Yeah,
talked about Chopper.
I
We
love
did,
the
we did.
reveal.
Only in passing.
Love
AJ,
the
As
you-
soon
reveal,
as
just
as
in the
soon as
little
I
thing.
saw that pop up, I'm like, there's
I was
only
like,
one
it's
choice this can
Chopper.
be.
Love it.
Oh yeah.
And he
Um,
looks great in the animation style.
Chopper's driving skills, by the way, he was.
I didn't even
tearing in that
notice
speeder.
that he
Top
was
tier.
still credited as himself. Like that was. I'm glad someone pointed that out. That was
Yeah,
hilarious.
Chopper or as himself, of course.
You think
Look
Dave?
at all the retcons, Jamie.
Dave, I
But
hate it.
they're censored, so
Some
I
of
know
them
what
are.
that
it's
says.
a swear.
What does that say?
It's funnier when
Raccoon?
it's censored.
Raccoon.
Yeah, it's a bunch
does
of
this
red
say?
censored red.
Raisin.
Raccoon.
Reason. Yeah.
Any
All right.
final words?
I'm trying to
Final
think of the
word.
mission.
doing
Omega
a-
showing off her room with the fairy lights to Hera.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
I
was
wanna-
so
great.
cute.
I want a
Everything's
Teenage
a real
Hera
moment.
action figure, please.
Ooh. Okay.
Please, thank you.
Here's something.
I've
I don't
learned
wanna-
to enjoy my burger after this.
I don't want to keep this going for too long, but we were talking about this in the Discord today. I have always assumed that Hera is like force aware, kind of like Lyra Urso is in like Catalyst. Like she can feel the living force a little bit, and not only is she a really good pilot, but like when Kanan dies, she can feel him in the force, and he's like standing there with her
Right.
and
I
stuff.
like
And
that
she
guy.
and she talks about in this episode how flying is a feeling, and like let it take you, and stuff like that.
Sorry.
Raccoon.
That's good.
That was good.
Raccoon.
Well done, Millie.
Yeah. Thank you for completely
agree,
derailing my
Levi.
point.
I
And
do
I've
agree,
always
though.
been like,
No, I'm with you. I
and
think
I've
a
always
lot
been
of
like
you.
she's like really good pilots. Like part of it
I was
is
just
that
about to say
innate,
that.
yeah, innate force.
Yeah.
sensitivity.
Well, even
Because
Poe.
Poe is, Poe is because he grew up
Is
on
Han?
Yavin with the force tree and whatnot.
It would be
Like-
ironic if Han ended up like having that.
Well, I mean,
bit of-
everyone's
It would
got
be.
it.
That'd be great. Yeah, everybody's
Good
a
pilots
little
are
force.
force-
There's also
Everybody's got a
There's
little bit
also
of the
a
force in them
character-
anyway, so it's just not everyone can tap into it.
There's
That's
a-
it at the end of the day.
I hope no one considers this a spoiler because I'm going to try to be as vague as possible. But there is a character in Rising Storm who is from a race that apparently they specifically feel the force for
Yep.
flying ships, but not for
feel-
anything else. Like that's as far as they can go. And I thought
Yeah.
that was a really interesting concept.
They feel the
That was
vibrations.
cool.
It helps.
Kind of like the
fly.
Mira Luca. Like having, I love
Mhm.
races that are inherently bound to the force more than just life force, because there's always some interesting things that can be done with that.
I just want to put that out there because I got some pushback.
No,
That's
I
been
like it.
brought
I
up.
like that.
I
I was
know.
idea.
like,
You never get pushed
I
into
was like,
gear.
I think she is kind of force sensitive. You know, it's
Well,
like
she even
Lyra.
said it's a feeling. I mean, that last night
Yeah.
it backed it up. But
Yeah.
Okay.
It
I agree,
reminded
Levi.
me. It reminded me
That's
of
cool with the Omega thing.
what's her name, Jana.
Yeah,
she's talking
that's
to Finn.
100% how they explain the force in Trust. It's
feeling.
it's
yeah,
a feeling.
feeling. So
Ah,
Feeling. Tech.
Jedi
What's
Finn.
it?
I need.
can't
I
wait.
need. I need.
But
I
Jedi.
don't understand.
I do too. I do too.
What could
I
that
need
be?
Jedi Finn.
I guess this was a great time. Thank you to all the new people in the chat. I saw Nolan, Chad, a lot of old faces too.
EMA,
But thanks to
that's
everyone.
Lot of
EMA,
old
thanks for
faces.
coming over. Old faces, new faces, good faces.
Old friends.
It's like a Dr. Seuss book.
Hello,
Anyways.
hello, my friends. Goodbye, my friends. This has been fun.
We're doing a
See
cool
everybody.
My
podcast
friends.
tomorrow, guys. So we'll see you.
Get the puffer pig.
Stay
Get the puffer pig.
Ooh.
Oh,
Quickly, they can still hear it. Puffer, puffer, puff.
There it is.
Yeah.